How was your day today?
Tiring, stressing. What can I say?
Yeah. So listen, welcome to the third session. In this session, we're gonna discuss some theories and applications, okay? We have 2 points to be discussed today. We have the consideration for teaching English to young learners. And for this one, we're gonna talk about the characteristics of young learners, how children learn, and how children learn a language. And then we have the other point that is Piaget's stages of cognitive development, okay? So in some of the characteristics we're gonna discuss, I would like to listen to you. What do you think about this? For example, among the characteristics of young learners, we have those that you can see. And the first one is energetic and physically active. So what do you think about these? Folks. As the topic says, right? Young learners. So this is just for primary, right? Primary level or primary education, where we have to consider how to harness the dynamic energy of young learners. Who know why? Why do we need to harness the dynamic energy of young learners? Blas?
Yes, teacher, can you repeat the question?
So as you can see there, we have some characteristics of young learners. So the first one, so we need to consider how to harness the dynamic energy of young learners. Why?
Well, I consider that this is an important factor teaching to teach something to young learners, and we have to take advantage of the energetic that they are and the physically that they also keep active in the classroom in order to be able to impart the class with them and somehow just keep them motivated with giving them by some kind of things like candies or something for doing good things. I think that's a good way to motivate them and take advantage of that energetic part yes, basically about that feeling that they have at the moment and of the way they cannot be bored in classroom and can take participation in it.
So when you say harness, it's like take control over that behavior.
Yeah, how to interact with them, how you can embrace that energy in your class.
So, well, I think that there might be any sort of techniques to take control over children because they are energetic and they may not be like easy to take control over. So I think that's a matter as well of being or having a personality to catch their attention, and like utilizing some techniques that I hope that we get to learn here, to engage with them and at some point like psychologically take control over their attention on us.
Right. When we talk about energetic and physical active, is it because, as you know, the children cannot sit still for long periods, right? So the teacher must incorporate different types of strategies or techniques, activities. Do you remember which, or by your own recordings, what is the best method or approach that you would use with young learners? For example, if you want to implement the comments. So what's the name of that activity when you say, stand up, sit down, make a line? So what's the name of that method? Because remember
TPR.
that you need to embrace that energy, right? To do something.
Like command.
That's the TPR, the total physical response.
Right, that's the TPR, right? Good, because this kind of method, it is useful in this case because you know that we need to move the student, right? From one place to another one and make gestures, right? Or mimics. Let's see the other one. Spontaneous and not afraid to speak out or participate. Do you think that in that way, young learners act in the same way as adults? For example, in your case, when you are in the classroom and teacher starts asking some questions, some of you don't want to give your opinion because you don't like or you're shy, but do you think that young learners act in that way?
Teacher, but in some cases we don't make question because we think that we can make a mistake about the question, or when we search our opinion we think, okay, if I make a mistake, everybody is going to laugh of me, and I think we don't make question for this.
Right, that's for us, but what about for young learners?
And it's depend the age, teacher, because when we are children, we don't shy. We aren't shy, sorry. And we make question on, for example, teacher, and my mom is beautiful. And we make this type of question that the children don't have a children aren't shy, but when we are younger and teenager, in some cases the teenager are so shy, and I think it's depend of the age.
Okay, good. Jorvin, do you think that young learners are more willing to participate in activities than adults, and why?
Can you repeat the question, please, teacher?
If you consider that young learners are much more willing to participate in activities,
In a class, the student should um, should participate in the class because it is important to interact between the student, maybe the interaction student to student or student to teacher is very important because um, it's important to acquire information in in a conversation. It's essential.
okay, good. Let's see the other one, curious and receptive to new ideas. What do you think, Aileen? Do you think that they have natural curiosity? Let's see how many of you are connected. Caroline,
Yeah, tell me.
what do you think about that characteristics of young learners? Curious and receptive to new ideas.
Well, I think that the young learners, as the phrase say, young, They have new ideas, fresh ideas they can share in the classroom.
All the time they are asking, right?
What?
All the time they are asking to know new things.
Yeah, because it is a new age, it is a new year, it is a new season. I don't know. Nowadays, the teenagers are pretty different. So they have their own thoughts. So that's why they are curious, and maybe they don't share our same thoughts because we are older, the teachers, well, older than the students.
Okay. Marilia, what about the last one, the last characteristics? What do you think? Social and are learning to relate to others. Do you think that young learners are very social and like to talk to each other?
Excuse me.
The last one. We need to embrace
Yeah,
the time. The last one, yeah.
social and learning. What do you mean with social? Like they can
So if you consider that
communicate.
young learners are very social and like to talk to each other.
I don't think so, because there are sometimes they are shy and they don't want to say anything about, and they don't want to.
What about when they play games with their peers? Do you think that they are relating? They are socializing?
Oh, and that area is very how can I say this? I forgot the word. I mean, they can be social, they can share, they can relate with the other students, and I mean, is that another it's the opposite when they are paying attention to the professor, and when they have an activity they can involve, they can participate, and it is very different.
Okay. So let's move on to how children learn. So here we have two important things: learn by doing and interacting with their environment, and need support and scaffolding by the teacher. So when we say learn by doing and interacting with their environment, do you remember when you were taking in the previous class the Piaget stages for the develop of the cognitive development? Who remember that part? What do you think about that theory? Learn by doing and interacting with their environment. Who can explain that? That is some.
Correct me, just correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been like researching because of the homework,
Yeah.
and in my perception, I think that when we talk about learn by doing and interacting with the environment, we're talking about Vygotsky's theory instead of Piaget's, because when we talk about Piaget's, he refers to the different stages of the learning process. Of course, they interact with the environment, but I think that Vygotsky focused a little bit more on how the environment
Yeah.
influence
Right.
the learning process, while Piaget, he refers to the stage of the mind. So it's like a little bit more by yourself, by ourselves.
Okay, good. Thank you. What about the rest? Let's see the other one. Need support and scaffolding by the teacher. Blas?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm not quite sure what SCAF does stand for. I mean,
Andamiaje.
andamiaje en español.
Teacher, I can see need support I can't pronounce the word. In my opinion, let's
Yeah.
repeat. Okay,
Scaffolding.
in my opinion is okay. The teacher is a support for the student because the teacher asks the doubt that the student have about different topics. For example, if the student uh, don't don't sorry, the student can make addition and subtraction. The teacher supports the awareness of the children and try to the children uh, get this knowledge. I think so. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Ismael, what do you think, Ismael?
So how I see this is that scaffolding it's more of a like a method of teaching and supporting children to get them prepared to the
Yeah.
next levels of learning, like what are going to be the next steps, what are going to be the next topics that we're going to be learning, and supporting them by creating that scaffolding per se, so as they are able to accomplish with the expectations that we have on them at the end.
Okay, good. Folks, we didn't have enough time. We're gonna change this. Let's see the here one. We have how children learn a language. It says that need a learning environment similar to first language acquisition. What do you think about this? Then we have learn language through lots of meaningful exposure in practice, and don't learn language through explicit grammatical explanations.
Uh, well, teacher, for that, I remember a case. It was about a friend, and she was trying to learn English, and the person that was teaching to her the language was providing a lot of grammatical explanations, but between those explanations, no word was in English, and she was kind of frustrated because she didn't understand why or the reason to know all these stuffs, but without knowing any word in English. And when it comes to the learning environment, similar to the first language, I would say that that could be 50 and 50, because I remember when we studied this course, the first year, there were many people that they were not able to say even hi, hello, or understand the phrase, how are you? Because of they didn't know anything about English. And so for me, it would be 50 and 50. First of all, introduce yourself or present the first topics in Spanish and also in English, and for them to understand what they are learning. Because if you begin full English, people always will be like lost. And they would say, I came here to learn, but I'm not seeing. I need to know this one in Spanish and English. But if it is full English, I mean, that cannot be possible to understand to me, for me, and based on my experience and what is so.
Okay, good. To have a conclusion, folks, I would like to listen all of you, right, about the Piaget stages of cognitive development. As you know, we have, or Piaget have four, right? Four stages of cognitive development. The first one that is related to the sensory-motor stage. So when the children are from 0 to 2 years old, the pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. This is like a little review because in the last class you were taking, so we were discussing about this. So I would like to listen to you. What do you think about the first one, the sensory-motor stage? So we have some, yeah.
Sensing motor state, teacher.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
the first
state,
stage.
the children learn like with sounds, for example, with smells, because when the children want to recognize her mom's or his mom, he make it through the smell when he is between 0 and 6 months. I think so. And they learn with interaction when they touch her mom or and something like that.
Alison,
Yes, teacher.
do you agree with Jacqueline?
Yes, I think children firstly when they are young learners, they learn mainly hear or interact with others, making activities that are dynamic in order to learn.
Okay. Do you think that it is in this stage that young learners are good imitators of language?
Yes, I think it's easier for children acquire new knowledge when they are young learners, and in comparison when someone is adult or teenager, they are uh, curious to learn new things, and that's a easy way to take into account and in purpose to teach them.
Okay. Marilia, what about the second stage, pre-operational stage? So where the student develop memory and imagination. What do you think? Kaylin, Ismael,
Tell me.
what do you think about the second stage, pre-operational stage?
So how I see this is that um, I mean, I actually don't agree with the stages of Piaget in this stage, because I wouldn't say that kids act that way that much, like extremely egocentrics and having difficulties. They are actually very curious at that time
Right.
of their lives. So, but I mean, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, thank you. Blas, we're gonna finish with you, Blas.
Uh-huh.
What about the last one? Formal operational stage.
Uh, well, I consider that is really good one, and it's okay. Uh, because you have like you are able to you have yes, you are able to think more about things in order to provide a response and about your learning. It children that is 11 years old is able to rethink about things and is able to understand about symbols and concepts, little concepts, and he's able to add up more about any type of topics that you impart in the classroom. So for me, I agree with that stage in children at that age.
Okay, okay, thank you. I really appreciate your time, folks, for being connected in this session. Just let me tell you that on the platform, session number 3, you will find the task, right? The homework. Please try to submit on time, okay? And we're gonna see around in the next session, right?
Okay, 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 okay.
All right.
Okay,
See you. Good
Okay,
night.
teacher,
Okay,
see ya.
quality.
okay, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye
Good night.
bye. So the same for you.